A new crew, if you're new, my name's Cassandra. Welcome back to my channel. Today we are talking about once a month meal plans. If you're new, I do this every single month. I've done this since I moved out of my home and have been living on my own. Just always did once a month meal plans and once a month grocery shopping. I like to meal plan because we are a family of 6, soon to be a family of 7, and meal planning once a month is so convenient for me. It takes all of the, hey, what's for dinner tonight? Do we have anything for dinner? Hey mom, can we have this for dinner? It takes all of that out of the equation, and it's just all right here. Of course, if we have requests on a specific night for a specific meal and it's on the meal plan, I have no problem making that specific night. But it takes all of the thinking out of it for me. In the morning, I can go down to my chest freezers, pull out what I need for dinner that night, let it thaw as the day goes on, and I don't have to worry about it again until it's time to cook. So convenient for me. I love it. It just takes a lot of mental energy off of me. February is a really good month to stock up on a handful of things. Just because it is a shorter month, you don't have as many meals and you have that room in your budget perhaps to go ahead and add a couple things to put away onto your storage shelf. That being said, I do plan to do that this month. I do that kind of every month in February. However, February was a really weird meal month for us because early in the month, if you watched my grocery haul, like the videos that went out earlier in the month in January, you know that some sort of like head cold, chest cold thing was running through our house. Not a lot of people really wanted to eat. We were pretty much just like grazing for that first like week and a half of the month. And then towards the end of the month, we all got what I can only assume was the norovirus. That like head cold, chest cold thing kind of stayed with us all month long. My chest is still pretty congested. And then we got like the flu bug on top of whatever the head cold thing was that was kind of lingering on that we had earlier in the month. Right now, the norovirus is still currently making its way through my house. It has been a really long, like 2.5, 3 weeks since it started. I have one kid home from school today. There's only one person left in our house that's like ready, that hasn't gotten it and needs to fall. And then I'm hoping that it just like made its course and it's gone. We don't have to worry about it anymore. Thing has just taken forever to make its way through the house. We've had like days in between people of the family getting sick. It started with my 2-year-old and like 4 or 5 days later I got it, and progressively every like 2 or 3 days another kid has gotten it. So that being said, with the like prolonged flu bug that was going on, not a lot of people were eating, and even the people that were healthy and not currently sick, they were very cautiously eating. So we just didn't really go through a lot of things. I have a lot of things on my shelf, and that being said, pantry challenge, freezer challenge, I didn't really make as big of a dent in things as I wanted to, specifically in my freezers, because so many of us were sick for so long. I'm still happy with the progress I was able to make during pantry challenge, digging in my freezers a little bit, but that's just a very small recap. I have a lot of things rolling over from January into February, a lot of meals, a lot of ingredients. So that's where a lot of these meals came from, was still trying to take things out of my freezer and still just like using ingredients for things that we bought for last month but never used, because not a lot of us did a whole lot of eating. We did like a lot of toast, a lot of soups, a lot of ramen, which is terrible. We went through like probably 10 boxes of Outshine popsicles because for a long time that's all the sick people in the house wanted, was like ramen and Outshine popsicles, which is fine. When you're sick, you just gotta get in whatever feels good. So I just have a lot of extra stuff. So let's actually hop into talking about meals specifically. The thing that I do find really interesting is the fact that my husband started eating on the carnivore diet, like I think the 2nd week of January, before the flu bug thing kind of started up. He's the only one whose head cold cleared up very quickly, and he's the only one who never got the flu bug. So I don't know if that's a correlation or not, but he's been intermediate fasting, so he only allows himself like a couple hour window during the day to eat, and when he is eating, he's just eating carnivore. And I'm starting to wonder if maybe that has anything to do with the fact that he didn't get sick, because my husband is laid off right now. He is employed. There's a big difference between unemployed and laid off, at least in my husband's line of work. Work is just slow right now. It gets that way throughout the winter, so he's home all day. So he's been in with the rest of us all day every day, so it's not like he's going to work and coming home and like isn't as exposed as the rest of us. He's here with us, so I don't know, but that is also why we didn't go through as many things last month, is because my husband's really just eating like eggs and steak and eggs. So there's that. When making this meal plan, I did try to think of ways that I could do this where I could make them just meat-based for my husband, just by like pulling some things off to the side before I like throw a casserole together or throw like a pasta dish together or something. But he mostly is just eating steak and eggs, and if he wants to stay eating that way, that's fine. But if he decides he wants to switch things up, I have meals here that he can pick in as well. So for the first meal, we're gonna do a cheddar broccoli and cheddar cheese stuffed chicken. I've made these a handful of times. I don't make them all the time. Once or twice a year, I guess we'll make these, but they're really, really good. We like to eat these over rice, and they're just really good, and they're really filling too, which is really great. I'm gonna do a meatloaf. I have some homemade meatloaf seasoning. We just processed a ton of breadcrumbs, and shout out to, I think it was Katie or Carrie. One of you guys told me that if I toast my breadcrumbs in the oven, I don't have to put them back in the freezer. They're shelf stable. So I'm gonna try that with part of my breadcrumbs and see how long they last, like in my personal pantry, because I know like storage conditions are different for everybody. And if they store really well that way, I'll go and do like the whole batch that way. So shout out to you guys. We are gonna do broiled chicken quarters. When we were all having that head cold thing, I bought some chicken quarters from Aldi and I just roasted them in the oven, and that's what we used to make our chicken noodle soup. And the chicken was so good. It was so moist, and all of us said that we would have no problem just like eating the chicken just like that, just as like a broiled or a roasted chicken. So I have like I think it's a 5-pound bag of chicken quarters in my grocery cart for Walmart, and we're gonna do some broiled chicken quarters. I think they're gonna be delicious. That'll be a great meal for my husband. I can just do the whole 5 pounds of chicken at once, and my husband can just have broiled chicken for a handful of days or whatever. I think it'll be really great. We're gonna do straight up burgers. This was a meal we had last month. Didn't end up doing it because everybody was sick. We're also gonna do sloppy joes. This is another thing I had on last month because I have a ton of home canned sloppy joe mix or like sloppy joe sauce on my pantry shelf. I did like 20 or 30 pints of it 2 years ago, and I just want to go through it a little bit faster than what we are. I have a feeling though we'll go through a lot of sloppy joe mix over this summer. We tend to eat sloppy joes a lot more during the summertime than we do any other time of year. Cajun chicken orzo. This is one meal that my husband might not necessarily want to eat because of the orzo, but I can pull chicken out. Maybe what I'll do is I'll broil all those chicken quarters and then pick the meat off and save some of that chicken quarter meat for the Cajun chicken orzo skillet. Really great, really easy, super easy meal. I made this once or twice before. I found the recipe on Pinterest. Really easy. I want to do fish tacos. My husband is ice fishing a lot right now just because he is laid off, and my husband is someone who like needs to get out of the house every couple of days and like go do something. He can't just like sit in the house and do projects here. He needs to get out and have that time away from the house, or he just like to function properly for himself. So every couple of days he's been going out to the shack and going ice fishing. Sometimes he'll take like some of the kids who are home with him because the kids have had a lot of time off, not just because they were sick, but because they canceled school for like a whole week because of the cold weather. I want to do some fish tacos, but I found specifically this new slaw recipe I want to try. It's cilantro. It's like a cilantro lime cabbage slaw. It looks really, really good. Not that my husband would eat it, but it looks really good and I want to try it. Last month, but totally didn't do, was roasted trout. we're gonna do that this month, specifically with my husband eating carnivore. It'll be so good for him to get like some natural, just like fish oil and fats in his diet. Not that he doesn't have enough fats, because like I said, he is eating a lot of steak and a lot of eggs, but I think like a little variety, have like a half of a roasted trout with his steak one night instead of eggs or something like that, just to switch it up a little bit for him. We're also gonna do cheesy beef burritos, or like cheesy beef wraps. They're kind of like a take on the Taco Bell like cheesy burrito wraps. We make them at home pretty often. My kids really like them, and I like them a lot because they're really easy to make in bulk and then just put in the freezer and freeze. We're also gonna do meatball subs. Another really easy meal for my husband, just having a couple meatballs on the side. But that's another meal. I will most likely prep a ton of meatballs all at once, get a ton of meatballs in the freezer, and use them as a convenience item in the months ahead. My husband is teaching classes this semester, and he has classes 1 day a week. So 1 day a week I'm flying completely solo for like after school, dinner time, homework, all of those things. And on those nights, I greatly prefer just a convenience meal. Some seasons, this means I'm putting a crock pot meal in early in the day, or we're doing something like super simple for dinner, like a hamburger helper, or something that I keep on the storage shelf for just convenience that we don't eat all the time. But during this season, I've just decided that because I am pregnant, I'm in my second trimester, I don't have a lot of energy, especially at the end of the day, and especially with all the sickness going on. So I just decided to cut myself a break, and this month we're gonna do all convenience meals. I'm just gonna get prepackaged things from Aldi, just things to heat up, things to throw in the oven, and just call it done for February. So we're gonna do an orange chicken from Aldi. My kids all really like that. And then I'm just gonna get a package of egg rolls. I've seen that Aldi has these like really nice looking egg rolls in their refrigerated section. I think they have chicken and veggie. I've been wanting to try them for some time. They look really, really good. And I've just decided that this month is gonna be the month. I'm gonna buy probably a package of each. I'll put them in the freezer and then cook them just 1 or 2 at a time when we do these like Asian style dishes as convenience meals. We're also gonna do a teriyaki pork steak. I have a lot of pork steaks I'm still working through. That was a big goal of mine. So we're gonna do a teriyaki pork steak and some sort of like mayo potato salad. That is one of our favorites, or pasta salads rather, not a potato salad, but a pasta salad. That's one of our favorite summer meals, and I am just craving a little bit of warm weather. I don't know if it's because we were all sick or if it's because the cold snap or what it is, but I'm just craving a couple days where like it can be like 40 degrees and I can get outside, I can get the kids outside, and I can just get a little bit of extra vitamin D, because it's been so unbelievably cold here in Wisconsin. It's like not even safe to go outside because it's been like -20, -30, even like on our warm days. It's just now starting to warm up, and it's still like well below freezing, like 4 degrees, 5 degrees, 6 degrees. Like it's just warm enough where I go out and do chicken chores or like outside chores, animal chores, and I just want to come right back in and be done because it's just bitterly cold. We're gonna do a lasagna. I'm trying to get back into making some fresh pastas. That was one of my goals for January. Obviously that did not happen, and I'm not mad at myself at all for that. We all here have had seasons where we're just sick after sick after sick, or like a ton of things that you don't plan for come up and all of your plans just go to the wayside, and that's okay. We do our best with the circumstances that are in front of us, and that was just my circumstance through January. It is what it is. We're also gonna do a beef roast. This is something that I was just craving. We have made connections with a beef provider, like buying half a cow. Pretty sure we're gonna go half and half with my sister-in-law, my brother-in-law for half of a cow. We're still pricing, like getting an exact price on that, trying to figure out what that would be, splitting it between the two of us. But very excited about that, to get like just some more variety, because right now we're only buying pork in bulk. We've been trying to get in contact with some sort of like farmer or something to buy beef in bulk as well, but very much so liking that we're getting on the list for that, essentially. And I can't remember if they said it would be the end of summer or the beginning of fall that cow would come in, so very excited about that. I also want to do a broccoli soup. This is one of those things, my husband doesn't really like broccoli soup all that much. All of my kids really like the broccoli soup, so this will be a good meal for us to make on a night where like my husband is eating a steak and doing his carnivore thing, and we just want to have a broccoli soup. So that's what we're going to do, and it's not going to tempt my husband at all because it's just like not his favorite thing, but we love broccoli soup. And I still have gallons and gallons and gallons of broccoli in the chest freezers from the garden. I should have enough to get us through until garden season comes back up again. So I'm really happy that I was able to grow a year's worth of broccoli. We're gonna do a jambalaya. I was digging through my pantry shelves before everybody got sick, and I found this like package of jambalaya rice I bought on clearance for like 49 cents or something like that, and I've never used it. So I figured let's do a jambalaya with like some mussels and some of our corn on the cob. We'll do like some sort of like fish boil with this jambalaya rice. We're gonna do a quesadilla. I found this new recipe, or this new like filling mixture for quesadillas on Pinterest. It looked really, really good. I think I'm gonna buy like a flank steak from Aldi, and it called for peppers and onions and like a ton of really great things. And lots of things I have from the garden in the freezer, so we'll still be using some of that produce up. And it also had a recipe for like a dipping sauce that looked really good, so I thought we would give that a try. We're gonna do a good old spaghetti pie. I have not done these in forever. So I have on here some sort of pulled pork, and what I mean by my pulled pork is I have a bunch of neck bones and some ham hocks in the freezers. I want to roast those off, pull all the meat off, and make something with them. Originally, I was thinking maybe we could do a pulled pork empanada. Then I was thinking maybe we could do a pulled pork pasty or a pulled pork pot pie. I'm still trying to figure out exactly what I want to do with that, but I do want to roast those off and get them out of my freezers, because those 100% are the kinds of meats that very easily fall to the bottom of my freezer and get left behind for the Super Bowl. Not that we care about the Super Bowl very much or like who's playing or anything, but we will casually watch, and we do like to have family come over for that day, and we make it more of like a game day. Like we'll play board games, we'll have the game on kind of casually, and of course the Super Bowl food, which is the only part that everybody can agree on during the Super Bowl, which is the best thing ever. So I figured let's do some chili cheese fries, let's do like taco dip and chili cheese dogs and like walking tacos. Let's just kind of put a ton of stuff in the crock pots, get a ton of stuff off the pantry shelf, and just have some people come over and have it be really casual. February, obviously, we have Valentine's Day, but it's also my husband and my's wedding anniversary. We'll be married 9 years this February, which sounds really crazy. We're closing in on 10, which is the part that feels crazy. But for Valentine's Day, I'm actually babysitting a set of my nieces and nephews. Love to do that, and then we're gonna switch off and they're gonna watch our kids for our anniversary. At least that's the talk right now. Of course, we have to see how things end up playing out, but because I'm gonna have some extra kids with me for Valentine's Day kind of night or whatever, I thought it would be really fun. Let's do like a heart-shaped, like, what are those, fruit pizzas. I thought that would be really fun to do. For Valentine's Day, we always do some sort of like seafood boil, so we'll do like crab legs and mussels, and I found some heart-shaped pastas from Walmart, so I thought let's make like a heart-shaped pasta with like some pasta sauce, maybe some cheese on top. We'll bake it in the oven for the kids, because the kids will have like a couple pieces of crab leg or like a mussel or two. Some of my kids really enjoy mussels, but it's just one of those days we like to just get really fancy and we make it more about the family and we come together, because Joe and I have our anniversary right before Valentine's Day anyways. So Joe and I will celebrate each other for our anniversary, and then Valentine's Day we make it more of a family event. So I think it's gonna be really fun. I have some fun like Valentine's Day crafts for the nieces, nephews, and my kids. So I think it's gonna be really fun. The rest of the meals are kind of meals I've decided I'm just gonna walk through Aldi and I'm going to wing it, because those will be the other meals that I plan for when my husband's teaching classes. So I'm just gonna walk through and whatever looks good is what I'm gonna grab. Thank you guys so much for hanging out with me today, talking about my February meal plan for my large family of 6, and I will catch you guys in another one.